Hello, this is Beyond Aliens and Occult. It's been a while since I've been making a video upload. It's been a lot of my life. I've been researching topics and the usual things I do. So I have been a bit occupied, but still completely, immersed into these topics and wanted to share some new photos and recordings I've made through the last month and weeks. Everything from orbs to strange faces in the woods and the usual things I capture, weird anomalies and paranormal events. And there's been recording here of I'm showing from two crafts that at first I thought were helicopters, but they didn't make any sound, and considering how close they were to the location, they should have made like tremendous amount of sound. And they were just hovering and circling in weird maneuvers that normal helicopters can't do, because they need to have take a long turn. When they turn, they need a lot of momentum in the air and space. They need to go they need to move for a long time before they can take out a U-turn, So they make U-turns that are completely unnatural. And it's weird. It's either some new kind of technology or something else that we don't know about, because normal helicopter and aircraft can turn like this. And it's very special to see this, to be honest. When I zoomed up and saw the pictures, I was actually, contemplating whether there are UFOs, UAPs, and not actually any craft from our civilization, because they behave weird, and it's very interesting to see them show up like this in plain daylight, close to a crowded area. A lot of people live, in a suburb. And I forgot to mention that I also had a recent interview on a podcast the other day. It's still in production, so it hasn't been actually released, the episode, and the show isn't aired. They are waiting to get the first episodes made, and the production time is taking some. It will take some time for it to be aired, but it will happen. So I will be on a podcast in the future in Sweden, here in Swedish, talking for like 2 hours maybe about the stuff I'm seeing and experiencing, and going back to even my childhood, and in Swedish for the Swedish population, because most of my videos and things are in English for the international audience and public, but I've never really made much content for Swedish population. Since I live in Sweden, I talk Swedish. So I was very intrigued with participating in this podcast, and I replied to a post on Facebook, and I got contacted, and later, a while later, I participated with my accounts and everything, and it feels nice to participate in a podcast where you can actually share your mind without censorship, and you can really say what you believe without being mocked or debunked, try to get debunked or questioned. And the typical here in Sweden, in overall, it's the skeptic movement is they have like a very debunkism approach on everything, and they don't take it serious, and they make mockery about it, and they are like super skeptical, radical skeptics. I'm talking Swedish, Swedish combined with English. They are very radical to anything. They are like, realism is their religion, basically. They're fanatical, realistic, and local realism has even been proven to be false, by the way. So they don't even know science. My point is that they are completely, close-minded and can't even provide a single theory or opinion that doesn't fit into this entire debunkism, skepticism narrative. So there aren't much podcasts or shows in Sweden here or anything related to UFOs that actually try to provide explanations that could make sense and theories and opinions about it. They just go with the entire, there's all the swamp gas, Venus and planets and misunderstandings and misconceptions. Never talking about what it could actually be. So I'm very happy that if this podcast gets aired soon, or not soon, but when it's going to take a while, maybe a few months. If it takes that long time, well, it's going to be worth the wait. But hopefully it gets aired and doesn't get cancelled, and Sweden gets to hear all my theories. Because there's not much here in my country that actually gives an plausible explanation to the phenomena. It's just the entire, we don't know anything about it. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be this or that, and it's probably just some natural phenomena we don't know about. The typical debunkism mentality. So I'm happy if Sweden gets some more substantial explanations and credible theories presented to them, and how much is actually happening in normal civilian people's lives, and how broad the subject is, and how much actually goes around in front of our very eyes that most people don't talk about, because it's stigma. It's a huge stigma to the topic, and most people get called crazy and all of that. But yeah, so I'm very happy to get to share my mind in this way in Swedish, or svenska. So it's going to be very interesting to see the final product, or the episode when it airs. I'll be looking forward to it, and I will let you know when you can listen to it if you're from Sweden and you want to hear my explanations in Swedish. This was Beyond Aliens and Occult. Thanks for listening. Have a good day or night, whatever time you are at, and take care. Farewell.